My name's Levi Smith. I'm the channel sales manager for obviously the commercial side over here at Formlabs. Really excited to kind of just speak to you a little bit about what we're doing with the 3L. And just before I get into that, I really want to kind of speak to you real quickly our partnership with Dynamism. So Dynamism has been on board with Formlabs for at least 4 years now. It's been an exciting partnership, but the one thing I always like to touch on is, what a partnership kind of means to Formlabs. What we're really looking for is a partner that can extend our user experience through their customers, through their expertise. And that's kind of what you get with Dynamism. As Eric had touched on, the suite or portfolio of products they offer is really built around best in-house solutions based on what technology you're looking for. And I think the beauty of working with someone who has this type of application expertise is whether you're upstream in CAD or downstream, maybe in scanning, or just kind of midstream with regards to 3D printing. All you really have to do is come to them with an application problem, and they're going to take a holistic approach to solve that with one of the solutions they have available. So again, it's always a pleasure working with Dynamism. They do a great job of kind of extending the user experience we expect with regards to our products. So first and foremost, the Form 3L represents a print volume that's 5 times bigger than the Form 3. Again, this has always been kind of a sticking point for a lot of our customers. Hey, we love the parts, we love the ease of use, but we still have to outsource. What are you doing about that? This is a conversation we've been having since 2014. And it's really been exciting developing the technology that allows the Form 3L to exist. So in terms of what's really different on the Form 3 and 3L platform, really comes down to a couple of key things. Obviously, we have advanced optics. So there's 2 compact LPUs within the Form 3L that represents the increased build volume that you see on the screen there. And then, of course, it's very modular, right? So we have replaceable LPUs in the past. If anyone's ever had experience with our Form 2, if there was anything associated to the optics of it, most likely it had to return to depot. With a modular Form 3 and 3L, you're able to actually make these user replaceable. And, if we looked at the Form 2, 80% of RMAs were associated to the optics. And so this really allows you the opportunity to constantly be up and running. And there's a range of benefits. There's a range of sensors we built into this new machine. So just a quick snapshot on the cross-compatibility, the cross-compatibility here. Whether you're using a Form 2 or Form 3 or Form 3L, it's going to be the same preform, same dashboard. The resin cartridges are the same. There's a lot of cross-compatibility there. Integrated sensors. So we have over 30 plus integrated sensors on this machine, whether that's better resin level sensing to, obviously, any concerns around print failures, things like that. This has all been integrated into both the Form 3 and 3L. And of course, the proprietary low force stereolithography that really allows the Form 3L to exist. And we'll really kind of dive into why LFS is so important to the Form 3L. So when we talk about LFS, its definition really includes just a flexible tank and linear illumination to turn liquid resin into flawless parts. And we needed to develop LFS to actually build the Form 3L. This is a conversation we've been having for the last 5 or 6 years. But one of the traditional kind of detractors of SLA and inverted SLA is peel force, right? So if anyone's used the Form 2 before, that's traditional SLA. It's an inverted SLA machine. It's very affordable. It's very very good with regards to resin consumption. Its biggest detractor, of course, is peel force. And with LFS, we're able to essentially reduce the peel force layer by layer by roughly 10-fold, right? And when you're able to do that, not only are you building better parts, more optically clear parts, better print success, you're able to get a better range of materials available, but you're most importantly able to build much bigger, right? Because when you eliminate that peel force, pulling off a 1,200 milliliter part is a much different equation than it would have been if we tried to use the same technology in the Form 2 and translate that into the Form 3L. So it really comes down to peel force, right? When you eliminate peel force, you're able to build much bigger with the same surface finish, quality, and print success that people are used to with the Form 3, with the Formlabs platform. So a couple of benefits of LFS. Again, huge parts, high print success, smooth surface quality, and fine detail. I love kind of just the example on the screen there, just to give you an idea This is just some of the beta feedback we have so far. But if you look at the part on the left, I mean, it's a monster part. It's not hollowed out. It's about 1,600 milliliters, right? So it's about 1.5 liters of resin used to print that prototype. And that's just some of the stuff you're able to do on the Form 3L platform. So just a quick, kind of virtual demo, since we are all remote these days. Wanted to talk about just some of the differences, right? So we talked about cross compatibility. One thing that is not going to translate from the Form 2 or Form 3 over is going to be the build platform. It's much bigger, very similar fashion, again, it's very robust. But again, it's not going to be compatible with any Form 2 or Form 3 build platform there. In terms of the process, again, it's still inverted SLA, but of course, with our new low force stereolithography, which allows us to build as big as we do. In terms of just the optics in general, again, there's going to be 2 LPUs associated to the Form 3L, as opposed to what you see with just 1 LPU on the Form 2, and all working the x-axis there. And we have a tremendous amount of integrated sensors. So the level sense associated to how much resin is in the tank is much more accurate than it has been in the past. So it's going to really eliminate any kind of issues associated to spills, things along those lines. And we actually have a mixer associated as well. So if anyone's used our Form 2 technology, has absolutely seen that, where you're constantly mixing layer to layer. Here, there's not as much mixing necessary. It's a different heating system, and that mixer is actually magnetically attached to each LPU. So when the LPU moves, that mixer moves with it. It's a very unique feature of the Form 3 and 3L platform. And then, of course, just in terms of the overall kind of optics and how the machine kind of works here, we've tucked the motherboard into the bottom right of the machine itself. There's a couple of reasons we did this, but most importantly, just keeps it well protected. So whether you have some type of catastrophic failure of some sort, if you're worried about anything getting on the motherboard with regards to resin spilling, this is something that we really took into account with that motherboard there. So with that said, we'll kind of move on to the beta feedback. And, the first one up here, obviously, is one of our betas. We've been working with them quite a bit for at least the last 6 months, but Optimus Ride out of, I believe it's Cambridge. They're developing self-driving technologies that enable efficient, sustainable, and equitable mobility systems. But it's a classic insourcing versus outsourcing conversation, right? They had tremendous lead times with the large parts that they needed to do. The ability to iterate, the cost of outsourcing those parts, the unpredictability of those lead times were a true factor into why they're very, very interested in the Form 3L platform in general. So they were used to using service bureaus, but they were very excited when they heard about this technology. And the feedback has been very well received, right? And, usually they had actually moved quite a bit away from outsourcing just based on lead time unpredictability. But for them, previous to the Form 3L, they're using our Form 3 and Form 2 platform and just cutting parts and putting them together. Tremendous amount of manual labor, a lot of work went into that, a lot, increased the amount of time they had and a lot less time to kind of iterate. And so that's kind of what they saw with the Form 3L, as opposed to, cutting something up into 6 or 7 different parts, putting it together. They were able to just do a build overnight, or maybe, a day and a half, and get that exact same part with the same surface finish, the same quality they were used to on the Formlabs platform. And essentially, one of their biggest kind of concerns going into this is what was the surface finish really going to look like, on this build volume. And they're pleasantly surprised on, just the surface finish, the high fidelity, the high quality part that they're able to receive once this thing was done printing. So they're very, very happy with, so far in terms of what they've seen with the Form 3L. So kind of moving along here, just want to do a quick sample part review. We will have these samples available. Definitely reach out to Dynamism. These, obviously they're going to be getting sample parts in the very near future, but just to give you a rundown of what that looks like, we're going to have this gray vacuum nozzle, roughly 5 hours per nozzle, 63 milliliters per part, and about less than $10 of material per part made. Let me see if I can pull up my screen here. I got a couple of sample parts I want to show you guys. So let me just pull that up real quick. But as you can see here, this is the nozzle. printed at 100 microns on the Form 3L and just our standard gray material. But just in terms of surface finish, I'm sure it's not coming through. But very excited about what you're able to get accomplished with this machine. I also have a full-blown femur printed in our clear here. And obviously you get a chance to see what the support structure looks like. We've actually been able to incorporate a lot of our light touch support features and preform into this as well. But again, full-blown feature built in clear resin at 100 microns. And so I just want to kind of showcase those parts there real quick before we're kind of moving on to the next slide here. So in terms of what materials will be supported as we start shipping these, the first four on the docket are obviously gray clear tough 2000 and our elastic 50A. We plan to have a very aggressive release schedule month over month as these machines start to ship. But these are the four that will be available when these things start shipping. So definitely contact Dynamism if you have any questions around certain materials. Again, really excited that we have tough 2000 on the docket for the Form 3L as this thing starts to ship. Again, it's a great material to work with. If anyone's had a chance to work with our tough V5, you know, the tough 2000 is a full-blown uptick in terms of the material properties. It's both stronger and less brittle. So we're very excited about that. And something else to keep in mind. So obviously we're still in the pre-order phase. We're going to be in the pre-order phase for the next couple of weeks. But at this point in time, you know, pre-orders placed now will ship before the end of this year. So definitely keep that in mind with regards to if this is a machine of interest. Definitely reach out to Dynamism if you have any questions around this. But we can make sure that once that order is locked in, you know, we make sure you have this machine before the year is out. One thing to keep in mind with the Form 3L, obviously the build volume is much bigger. You know, the current Form Wash and Form Cure associated with the Form 2 and the Form 3, it's just not going to fit some of the medium to large parts that you see with the Form 3L. So we do have off-the-shelf third-party recommendations that we have tested and validated as a good solution if you need these. Each Form 3L that's ordered does come with a manual finish kit. It's rather robust. It's very similar to what you see with the Form 2 and the Form 3 standard finishing kits. It's not automated, but it will run with that. But if you need something more automated, you know, we are recommending the Elma P180H or the P300H as potential off-the-shelf IPA washing recommendations for those parts. So just a quick rundown on the specs, build volume. Obviously, we're 13 by 8 by 12. Layer thickness, just to give you a rough idea, most of the parts we're printing are 100 microns and above, just based on medium to large size parts don't need the same type of quality that you see. 2 modular LPUs, and each machine is going to include 2 resin cartridges. So you can see it on the right side of the machine, but you can put 2 resin cartridges in. Each tray will hold roughly about 1 liter of resin, give or take. So in terms of how much it will cost, again, we are moving off our pre-order pricing as we start to ship. You can lock in that price today for $9,999. As of September 15th, that price will be going up to $10,999. And each machine obviously will be required to have a service package attached after September 15th. So there's a good bit of cost savings as we speak over the next couple of weeks. As we move off to that pre-order price, the price will be going up. And I guess with that said, you know, we want to keep it short and sweet today. We got a couple of questions. Actually, we got a question so far with Mike. And we'll definitely feed these into the chat bar. Anyone on the call right now, definitely want to, you know, if there's any questions, love to get those answered. Mike's question is, you know, I'm curious about post-processing. Is there plans for a larger wash station and UV station? So, you know, that's absolutely something we think about quite a bit at Formlabs. Stay tuned over the next couple of weeks in terms of what that's going to look like. I can't go into details, but you know, we're always looking at the print ecosystem over here at Formlabs. So when we think about, you know, kind of the Formlabs platform, it's not just the printer. You know, it's upstream with the materials, the preform or slicing software, obviously the automated post-processing that you see with the Form 2, Form 3. You know, that's very much part of our, you know, kind of our stance, right? We want to make our product, our ecosystem very easy to use. And if you're using Tupperware on the backside of this $10,000 machine, it's a little less easy. So definitely stay tuned, Mike, over the next couple of weeks. There's going to be some exciting input coming out. Perfect. And Eric, I didn't know if you had any questions on your side.
I guess I do have one question. So can you tell us a little bit about the speed? I know you have the two LPUs for that. So does that mean it's going to go a little bit faster? What can we expect in terms of this compared to like the Form 2 or Form 3?
Oh, great question. And I knew it was going to come up. So I can't say, I'm not going to say for certain, right? The thing we always run into on our side with regards to speed is it really just comes down to part geometry, right? How tall is that part? How thick is that part? I can't say for certain what that's going to look like as these resins come out. I can say for certain that these machines over time constantly improve in terms of speed. If anyone's had a Form 3 initially back in June, July last year, and looks at the print speed of that machine now, it's exponentially improved. Anyone that bought a Form 2 back in 2016 and was printing on the same machine in 2019, the speed exponentially improves. It's really going to be dependent on when the resins release, how much feedback we have on them, and the optimization we're able to do between pre-form releases. And that's really the way we work on it, right? The machines go out there, people start printing on it, we start to get that feedback loop, and then we start to further and further optimize the print speed. So there is more horsepower from an optics and LPU standpoint. I just don't want to go into specifics and get my wrist slapped. So we will have more details as this product hits the market, though.
And Levi, so it looks like we got another question from Drew. So do you happen to know when the rigid resin will be supported?
Yeah, so Drew, great question. We absolutely plan to get rigids supported end of Q3, early Q4 is roughly what we're looking at. Right along the lines of essentially, when a big bulk of these things really start getting out the door. But we absolutely plan to start supporting rigid this year for sure with the machine. And there's some exciting things in line with that, right? Our material library has exponentially increased. And I actually, that kind of brings me to just a topic I always like to touch on, which I did on this presentation today. But, at Formlabs, we're very R&D focused, very R&D heavy in terms of our budget. There's three groups of R&D over at Formlabs, right? There's the obviously the MEs building the new printers like the Form 3L and the Fuse and all the new products that we have. There's the preform and the software team that's building the newest versions of our preform and our slicing software. The real rock stars at Formlabs are our materials scientists, our materials team. They're truly one of a kind. I think one of the best in this business. If we look at materials, and especially polymer science, it's so boutique that we have to actually pull these material science straight out of university. 75% of them have their PhD. And what they cook up in that kitchen is truly something special. And that's another benefit of LFS or low force stereolithography is that, it doesn't just allow us to build bigger, but the range of materials that we're going to have access to through LFS, through the Form 3 and the 3L has exponentially grown. I'll give you a couple examples of that. We launched 3 brand new resins in the first quarter of this year. We launched 9 brand new resins at the end of June. We plan to continue with that, right? And so one of the benefits of LFS is just the range of materials you get access to. More filled materials, maybe a static discharge material. There's so many different things we get to do because the peel force on the parts that you're building are exponentially decreased. And Drew, I know I made your answer long-winded. We will absolutely support rigid this year. Again, it's got a high priority because it's a terrific resin to work in.
So we have another question coming in from James. So he noticed that the Almasonic P300H is a heated ultrasonic cleaner. Is there any benefit to it being heated?
Man, that's a great question. I'm not for certain if there's an added benefit to that, right? I know our traditional wash solution is in a heated solution. I can't see a benefit at this point just based on, kind of working with the Form 3 and some of the technology we have in-house. I don't think it's really going to add or benefit in terms of washing that part.
Okay. And for any of these that we're not able to answer completely right now, we can certainly follow up. I don't think we have any additional questions. One thing I just wanted to finish off with is, if you guys are interested in the 3L, definitely check out dynamism.com or reach out to us. Here, as the units begin shipping and we're able to get our own, for all the printers that we carry, we do offer sample prints. So feel free to reach out. So if you're trying to do a benchmark, to try to get the 3L in house, let us know, and we can work with you to get that finished.
Awesome, terrific. Well, if there's any other questions, definitely reach out to Dynamism. They have a direct line to me. Again, really excited to be working with this technology, what it represents. And again, everyone, thank you so much for the time on this Tuesday.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.